Buzz Lightyear Astro Blasters at the Magic Kingdom is closing, but not to be replaced, but rather reimagined into a new, more modern take on the ride, a version that currently exists in Shanghai. When it comes to what exactly is being updated, the overall show scenes and sets are being updated, with some being fully replaced by brand new ones, including a brand new animatronic, as well as updating the blasters, which will now feature two different colors so you can easily distinguish each one from the other, as well as seeing where you're aiming, plus including haptics, which will give you a slight vibration whenever you hit or miss an object, as well as being overall better designed, allow for more freedom and flexibility throughout the ride, helping add for an increased experience. In addition to this, the targets that you'll be aiming at will now be modern, unlike the outdated aspects of the current ones. But why is Disney doing this? Well, I believe it comes down to a more exciting future and change of the resort to help get us away from the Chapek era, where the park saw a bunch of budget cuts and reduction in the overall quality of the experience, as Disney looks to continue to greenlight a series of rides and attractions for the parks, as well as invest more into their current ones, including the current retracking of Big Thunder Mountain, as well as improving it as well. When it comes to updating the current attractions, I believe this is huge because it helps draw out more crowds in a way that splits them up from the current areas that may be overly crowded due to a new ride or addition, and brings them more into the current offerings that were already at the resort and helps spread them out as a result. In addition to this, these new offerings not only revamp a ride and help it make it more modern for a new modern era, but it also allows for less capital expenditures being built into replacing a ride to bring back its crowds. Furthermore, Buzz Lightyear Astro Blasters is an already crowded attraction. There really was no need for it to have a brand new IP, although that would be a nice touch. It is something that is being done in other parks, like we saw in Hong Kong with Ant-Man and the Wasp Nano Battle, something that can't come to the US parks, at least to Disney World, due to the licensing deal with Marvel, as well as the exclusive Tokyo Disneyland version of a Wreck-It Ralph ride that will be replacing it but utilizing the same features and technology. Likewise, outside of these new and recent areas of the resort getting more love and attention that they deserve, there is also a series of new and upcoming rides coming to the resort, including a Monsters Inc. themed land, several new shows, a parade, and a Villains Land and Cars Land, which will sadly be replacing the Rivers of America. While it is great to see brand new expansions and stuff being built for their parks around the world, as specifically the Magic Kingdom, something that it desperately needs with an increased competition and competitive edge from Universal, one downside of these current offerings and improvements is that they are often going after areas that Disney saw as not worth it, even though there was plenty of areas that they could have built instead of it. As for instance, instead of building the Monsters Inc. land in the Muppet Vision courtyard area, they could have used other spots like the parking lot or the almost dead animation courtyard area. Likewise, they could have used the land around the Rivers of America, while it would have required a little more capital expenditure, to really expand the capacity of the park instead of demolishing the Rivers of America to build two new lands in its place with a slight expansion upon it. That said, what is replacing it though does seem to do a great job of not changing the area too much to affect the overall feel and vibe. As well, there will be nothing like the waters going in the Rivers of America. They are at least trying to keep that nature vibe of that area of the park, with the Cars Land which will be closer to the current existing area, being a more nature-inspired area based off of the Piston Peaks. Similarly, Monsters Inc. will be utilizing a lot of the facades and city work of the current Muppet Vision area, helping make less of a capital expenditure to transform it into a new area, while also keeping the current aesthetic alive and building upon it. We'll see Monsters Inc. roller coaster being built in more of the parking lot area, expanding the park, which is something that they're also doing over at Dino Land, which is now closed, and make way for the Tropical America's Land, which will be replacing a lot of Dino Land, but will include a slight expansion of it. Overall, while it is sad to see some of these areas go, especially when there's open spots and abandoned concept arts, as well as abandoned areas as a whole at the resort, it is nice to see least some more investment and expenditures spent into the parks to help bring them up to what they once were in 2019, which saw a series of additions coming to the resort, like Avatar, Toy Story, and Galaxy's Edge. So while it may not be the best right now, as well as the closures going forward, at least in the future, there does seem to be a bright change to it, as opposed to what it was during the Chapek era, which saw a bunch of cheap additions and reduction in quality of their parks and resorts. And hopefully one day, the Magic Kingdom and the domestic parks will be transformed into the once beautiful and majestic place that they once were.